The sun was just beginning to rise over the horizon, as the guards led the young man down the long, dimly lit hallway towards the death chamber. He had been sentenced to death by electrocution for a crime he didn't remember committing, and now he was running out of time. His heart pounded in his chest as he approached the heavy metal door that led to the chamber. He had heard the stories about what happened in there, the screams of agony and the smell of burning flesh that seemed to linger in the air long after the execution was over. The guards strapped him into the electric chair, their hands rough and calloused, as they secured the restraints. He closed his eyes, trying to block out the reality of what was happening. He couldn't believe that this was it, that his life was about to come to an end in this cold, sterile room. As the warden stepped forward to read out the sentence, the young man's eyes snapped open. He couldn't believe what he was hearing. The warden was reading out the charges for a crime he had never even heard of, let alone committed. Desperate to prove his innocence, the young man tried to protest, to plead with the warden and the guards to listen to him. But it was no use. They were all convinced of his guilt, and there was nothing he could do to change their minds. With a heavy heart, the young man resigned himself to his fate. He closed his eyes and took a deep breath, trying to calm his racing thoughts. He knew that this was it, that he was about to take his last walk on this earth. As the warden signaled to the guards to flip the switch, the young man braced himself for the jolt of electricity that would end his life. But as the current coursed through his body, something strange happened. Instead of the searing pain he had been expecting, the young man felt a sense of weightlessness wash over him. He opened his eyes and gasped, as he saw the walls of the death chamber melting away, replaced by a swirling vortex of light. He felt himself being sucked into the vortex, his body tingling with energy, as he was propelled through the void. He had no idea where he was going, or what would happen to him once he got there. But as he soared through the darkness, the young man couldn't help but feel a sense of hope rising within him. Maybe this was his chance to escape, to prove his innocence and clear his name. As the vortex spit him out onto a barren, alien landscape, the young man knew that he had been given a second chance. He had no idea where he was or what dangers he might face, but he was determined to make the most of it. He set off into the unknown, his feet pounding the rocky ground, as he ran towards the horizon. He knew that he had to keep moving, to never give up hope. And as the sun set on that strange new world, the young man knew that he had finally found his freedom.
George Stinney Jr. was an African-American boy who at the age of 14 was convicted, in the proceeding later vacated as an unfair trial, and executed for the murders of two young girls in March 1944, Betty June Panicker, age 11, and Mary Emma Thames, age 7, in his hometown of Alcalá, South Carolina. He was convicted, sentenced to death, and executed by the electric chair in June 1944, thus becoming the youngest American with an exact birth date confirmed to be sentenced to death and executed in the 20th century. A re-examination of Stinney's case began in 2004, and several individuals in the Northeastern University School of Law sought a judicial review. Stinney's murder conviction was vacated in 2014, 70 years after he was executed, with a South Carolina court ruling that he had not received a fair trial, and was thus wrongfully executed. A vacated judgment places the parties in the position of no trial having taken place at all. Thus a vacated judgment is of no further force or effect.